Dave Doran heading into his 11th season with the WolfPack. We're heading to Raleigh, North Carolina to give you an insight on what's coming up for the WolfPack heading into the 2024 season. I'm Nathan Johnston here with my co-host Brad Hopkins. It's time to break the huddle. Brad, we're heading out to Raleigh, North Carolina to a very interesting program, the NC State WolfPack, which surprisingly had a very good year last year. I believe they went 6-2 in the ACC, only losing to Duke and Louisville, who were pretty good in the ACC last year, all things considered. We know Louisville went to the ACC championship game. Now they come back. Brennan Armstrong leaves. MJ Morris leaves as well. MJ Morris came in when Brennan Armstrong was hurt, and they replace him with transfer from Coastal Carolina, Grayson McCall. We're going to get into that. Brad, I'll turn it over to you first. Thoughts on Dave Doran, thoughts on the WolfPack, and what Dave Doran can do with this program with Grayson McCall at the head of the offense.
Yeah, Nate, and I want to start off by saying Dave Doran to me is one of the most underrated coaches, not only in the ACC but in college football today. He's not talked about a lot, and crazy to think that he has been there in Raleigh. This is his 12th season, which is just mind blowing. Was really, really good at Northern Illinois, of course, where he got his first head coaching stop, and then has just been the model of consistency there in Raleigh. In his 11 seasons so far, like I said, his 12th one coming up, only 2 losing seasons, and 2020 through this past season, 2023, 8 wins twice and 9 wins twice. So model of consistency. They've been good in the ACC, but they're just not talked about a whole lot. You think about obviously Clemson's the team that gets the most talked about. Of course, Florida State. But then, I mean, you've got so many teams in North Carolina. You got UNC, Chapel Hill, you got Duke, you got Wake, and then NC State. So this is a program that, you know, they're going to get some big boys in the ACC and SEC in recruiting. But Dave Doran has just been the model of consistency. You mentioned not a lot of turnover in the coordinators. They bring both their coordinators back. Tony Gibson is back for his 6th season as the defensive coordinator, and Robert Anai, his 2nd season. And both of these guys are older guys. They're veterans. They've been around football a long time. Nate, before I turn it back over to you, I really want to focus on NC State from a transfer portal focus because they added some huge pieces. You know, it was interesting to me last year, Nate, and we talked about NC State a few times on the channel doing some game previews from week to week, but their offense was, to be frank, they weren't great. Brennan Armstrong transferred from Virginia, unbelievable runner at the quarterback position, but was very, very up and down throwing the football. You mentioned MJ Morris. He had some moments, but he struggled as well. And yet, you know, I would say, no disrespect, but subpar quarterback play. And NC State still got 9 wins. So now they bring in a guy, Grayson McCall. I'm a huge fan of this move. This, to me, was a huge win for NC State. This guy was so successful at Coastal Carolina, and now he's coming to Raleigh, and I really do think he's going to do a good job. You know, Devin Leary, we saw him light it up at NC State, and I think Grayson McCall can be better than that. He's got great size. He's mobile. He's got a good arm. He's going to do some good things. 2 quick other names on the offensive side of the ball. Noah Rogers. He transferred from Ohio State. He was part of a really good receiving class at Ohio State. Shocker, right? Ohio State has a good recruiting class, but struggled to find the field. So he transfers back to his home state of North Carolina to come play for the WolfPack. Watch out for him. I think him and Grayson McCall could develop some chemistry, and he could have another good year. The other guy, running back Jordan Waters, he transfers in conference, coming over from Duke. He's got really good size, goes about 6 foot, 220, physical runner, had some success at Duke. So these 3 guys, to me, Nate, really give NC State some big time offensive firepower. And the final thing I'll say, Dave Doran is a defensive minded coach. We know they're going to be tough and physical on defense. I'm going to say with the revamped ACC, with Florida State losing a lot, with Clemson being unknown, NC State might just be a dark horse to win the ACC this year. So, and the schedule sets up beautifully. We're not going to go into that very much, but the schedule really sets up well. But I really like the WolfPack this fall.
Yeah, Brad, you brought up some really good points. You bring up Grayson McCall and the success he was able to have at Coastal Carolina. Keep in mind, last year he struggled tremendously. He only threw 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. course, the year before that, I think he had 23 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Injuries played a role in that for sure. Can he have a bounce back year? Can he fit into this program in Raleigh with the Wolfpack and get back on track? You mentioned guys like Noah Rogers coming back home from Ohio State. Not only is he from in-state, he's from Raleigh. I mean, he's right in the same hometown, literally 6'2", 200 pounds. This guy is going to be a dynamic playmaker for NC State, I believe. And the fact that he's only a freshman, he's got a few years to develop. And I think he's going to do just that. You mentioned running back coming over from Duke. I'm going to mention another running back coming over from Oklahoma, Daylan Smothers. This guy is phenomenal. He only had 11 carries at Oklahoma. Another freshman coming back home to his home state from Charlotte, North Carolina, 5'11", 190. He's more of a speedster kind of guy. May not be as physical as the guy you mentioned, but either way, NC State has some really, really good transfers coming in, along with some great freshmen. I know we highlighted just a couple, but they're shaping up to do very, very well this year. Let us know in the comments who you think will be the most impactful transfer to NC State.